Okay, on this video we'll do CAD Lab 1, AutoCAD Lab 1, and that's going to look, let's see, let me get this resized here. It's going to be this lab here, so we'll do that next. And to start that lab, we want to start a new file. Now you can go to this icon right here, or you can go to the big red letter A, and under that arrow you can hit that and hit new, and we want to just use the AutoCAD template, which should come up, but it's AutoCAD.dwt, and there's that. And I'm going to turn my grid off here real quick. I'm not a big fan of that, so we'll turn that off and we're good to go. So the first thing I want to do is start drawing this part on the bottom, and we'll start in the upper left hand corner of that drawing and make that 0, 0. Now I'm going to start with the line command. That's up here in the upper right left hand corner, or you can simply type in L and hit enter. So I'm going to start at 0, 0. That's what I said previously. Now mine doesn't show up, so if I hold my middle mouse button down and move it up and to the right, you can see that I can move that around so I can see it. Now the drawing says to go from here over to the right 7.5 units. So I'm going to do 7.5 on the X, comma, 0 on the Y, enter. That means I've gone 7.5 units directly to the right. Now the next thing I want, and that was an absolute rectangular coordinate. It absolutely comes from the origin, which is where I started. The next thing I want to do is use an incremental value, which tells me that my 0, 0 moves over here temporarily, and I want to go straight down. To do that, I'm going to say the @ symbol, which is simply the shift and the 2 on your keyboard. I want to tell it how much I want to move in the X. That's 0. I don't want to move anything left or right. I want to go straight down. Comma, minus 1.75, because I said I wanted to go straight down. Now the next line here, I don't actually have a length, but I do have an angle, which turns me into polar coordinates, and I do have a Y, but I don't have an X value for the ending point. So I've got to kind of do a combination deal there. Now it just kicked me out. I don't know, the video kicked me out, so I'm going to have to go back to line, snap to the endpoint, and now I want to go relative, and I'm going to go polar coordinates, which means I have to give a distance, so how long this line wants to be, and then an angle. I'm going to make up a distance of 5. Angle is simply shift on your keyboard, hold it down, hit the comma, which is the same key you use to separate X and Y. Now we're separating distance and angle. Now the angle on this, it calls out 45 degrees relative to the horizontal, and the horizontal axis is actually 0, or over to the left side 180. So we want to go relative to the 0, it would be 45. However, the axis is going to be right along this line right here, so we're going to have to go 180 plus 45 down here, which is 225. We'll accept that and get out of that line. We don't know how long that line is, and we're going to walk away from that for a minute. So I'm going to do another line. I'm going to snap to the endpoint. Then I want to go 0 in the X, according to the drawing, minus 2.375 in the Y. Now this line right here, again, is a polar coordinate. It gives the angle, but it doesn't give the distance. So I'm going to go relative again. It's shifting to 2. Some distance. This time I'm going to go 1.75 just for fun. Shift comma, which is the angle, and in this case the angle is specified as 60 degrees right here off the horizontal. We'll realize this angle coming down from this horizontal is 60 degrees as well, but when you go in a clockwise fashion, it has to be a negative value, so I can type in negative 60. I could have also, and I'm going to accept that because I'm done, I could have also accepted 300 degrees instead of minus 60. It has to add up to 360. Okay, now I want to concentrate on how I get where these lines stop. Now, in class I may have shown you these in separate commands, but what I'm going to do is I want to do one, and that's the offset command. And it asks me for the offset distance. Well, the first one, it says I need to go down 3.75. So I'll go 3.75, enter. It asks for the offset. What do you want to offset? I want to offset this line. That's where the dimension comes from, correct? And I want to offset it down this way. Now the reason I saved this to last is because I want to hit enter, enter again, and I want to input the value of 5. So I need to come down 5 inches to get the length of this line. Enter, pick the object, this line here, and left click, and I'm done. So I hit escape. So these are the two lines, but I saved them to last so I could just repeat the command and be much more efficient. So next we want to trim out these lines right here. To do that, there's the trim command. Now note we've got trim and extend. So I want to trim. The first thing it asks me for, it says select a cutting edge. I want to use this edge, enter, to cut this edge. Now I have to pick the part I want to go away. Enter. Likewise, I could repeat the command with enter, and I want to use this edge, enter, to cut this away. Enter. Okay, now let me back up there. We could have done that at the same time. We can go trim, and we can pick both of these objects, and I'm picking a crossing window, which means if I click and move to the left and click again, anything that is inside the window or just touching the window will be selected. Enter. I'm done picking objects. Now I need to pick the parts that go away. So you can do them. Yeah, you can pick as many objects you want as a cutting edge and as many objects you want to trim out. Well, now we want to extend this line. So to extend it, that's hiding under the trim. So we'll hit extend. The first thing it asks me down here is pick the boundary edge. Where do you want to go to? I want to go to this line right here. Enter, because you can pick as many as you want. You have to tell it when you're done picking. Then I want to pick the end of the line that I want to extend. Enter. Now, in that case, I would just delete this line, but I'm going to undo that. I want to show you another method. Again, we can use the fillet command, and as long as it's fillet radius 0, it will be a sharp corner. So here, in this example, we want to pick the parts of the object we want to keep. So this one's pretty easy. It's going to extend that, and it's going to trim this, and it'll keep anything to the right of that X, or if I come to this side, it'll keep anything to the left of the X. Boom. And that takes care of extending and trimming at the same time. I'm going to delete this line. I just click on that with nothing in the command line. Hit the delete key on my keyboard. Then finally, to finish this up, I want to draw another line, snap to the endpoint, and then I want to go relative to that, any distance you want, angle, shift and a comma, 30 degrees. Now obviously that's too small, but as we talked earlier, we'll do a fillet radius 0. We'll pick this end, and we'll pick to this side of that green X, and it will trim and extend at the same time. Now the next thing I should do is go in there and save that file. So I'll go up here and hit the save button. You can hit save or save as, it doesn't matter. The first time you save it, it does the exact same thing. So I want to go, I found my folder that I want to put it in, and I want to put this in as such, and I'll save it. So now my file's saved. It put the name up on the drawing right up here, and it put it up in this tab right here. So next thing I want to do is move this down and get it out of the way so that I can go ahead and draw this next shape. right here, I'm going to want to draw this from this left-hand corner, lower left-hand corner. So I need to move it. Once I move it, I'm going to stop this video and we'll do this piece in another video. So I want to first click to the, I can either click to the left, or so if I just get everything touching the window, it'll pick everything. Or if I click and go to the right, I have to make sure it's totally in the window, or notice the two bottom ones aren't highlighted. I pick everything. Then I'm going to get this blue grip right here. That's called a grip, and we're going to make it hot by clicking on it. Now if I hit the space bar one time, it went from stretch to move. So I can just move this down to the end point right there and hit escape. So that's a quick way to move objects around. You can do other things with that, but that's the easy move. So, and I'm going to save again, and then I'll quit on this video and we'll do another one for the other piece.